There's a very specific kind of heartbreak that almost nobody talks about.
Not a breakup, not divorce, not unrequited love.
I'm talking about the moment you realize that the person who once knew everything about you, your other half, your safe place, your best friend, is no longer really with you. You still have photos together, old inside jokes, memories that feel like home. But when you look at the friendship as it is now, something feels off. Thin, heavy, wrong. And here's the part that scares you. You don't know if you're supposed to fight for it or finally admit that it's over.
So you stay, half in, half out,
Smiling in selfies, dying a little inside.
If this is you, this video is not here to tell you to just move on or to demonize your best friend.
It's here to give you something much harder and much more important, clarity. Because sometimes, loving someone as a friend means doing the unthinkable, letting them go. In this video, we're going to talk about 6 signs it's time to let go of a best friend, and how to do it without destroying your self-worth. As you listen, you might feel a mix of grief and relief.
Both are valid. Both are part of finally seeing the truth.
Why letting go of a best friend hurts so much? Before we get into the signs, you need to understand something. Losing a best friend often hurts more than losing a romantic partner. Why? Because they've seen you in your most unfiltered form. They know your family, your history, your weak spots. You never really prepared yourself for the idea that this connection could end. We grow up hearing stories about falling in love, heartbreak, divorce. But we almost never talk about the slow, quiet death of a friendship that once felt like forever. So when it starts to crumble, you don't have a script for it. You don't know what's normal, what's worth saving, and what's already gone. You tell yourself, we're just busy. It's just a phase. Maybe it's my fault. Maybe I'm overreacting.
But at some point, you stop sleeping as well. You replay conversations in your head.
You overanalyze every message, every silence.
That inner conflict is not random. It's a signal. So let's talk about the signs.
Sign 1, you're more in love with the past than the present. The first sign is subtle and brutal. You are more attached to the memories of the friendship than to the friendship as it exists today.
Ask yourself honestly, when you think of best friend, do you think about who they are now or who they used to be? Do you replay old trips, late night talks, shared struggles, dumb jokes from years ago? To convince yourself things are still okay? Do you find yourself saying, we've been through so much together, I can't just let this go? Even though the present feels empty, maybe conversations that used to be effortless now feel awkward and forced. You sit together, but it feels like you're sitting with a memory, not a person. You find yourself editing what you say, holding back, feeling like you don't quite fit anymore with the version of them they've become.
This is painful because your brain is loyal to what once was. It remembers the friend who showed up for you, the friend who made you laugh until you cried, the friend who helped you survive some of your darkest days.
And so, out of loyalty to the past, you betray your present. What does this tell you? It doesn't automatically mean your friendship has to end, but it does mean this. If the only thing holding you here is nostalgia, then what you're clinging to is not the friendship. It's the story of the friendship.
And you can't build a future on a story that stopped being true.
Friendships rarely end with a dramatic explosion. Most of them die slowly, quietly, one "I'll reply later" at a time. Think about your current communication. Do you go weeks or months without a real conversation? Are you both constantly too busy to call, meet, or even check in properly? When you do talk, does it feel more like catching up with an acquaintance than reconnecting with your person? Maybe you used to text every day, share every tiny life update. Now your chat is mostly, "We need to meet soon." "Yes, soon. Let's plan something," followed by nothing. You keep saying "we should" without actually doing anything about it. And here's the painful part. You still call them your best friend out of habit. But ask yourself, when was the last time you really let them in on what's going on inside you? When was the last time they did the same? Sometimes, distance happens because of life. Different cities, new jobs, family, kids. But even with distance, when a friendship is truly alive, you feel some kind of ongoing threat. It might not be daily, but it feels mutual. You both reach out. You both care to know. If the only thing left is a title, best friend, and no actual connection behind it, then you're not friends in the present. You're just guardians of a shared museum. And museums are for visiting, not for living in.
Sign 3. You're walking 2 different roads. Healthy friendships can survive differences. Different tastes, careers, hobbies, lifestyles. But sometimes, the divergence goes deeper than that. Sometimes your values shift. Your priorities. The very way you want to live. Maybe you're trying to heal, grow, set boundaries, take care of your mental health. And they're still living in chaos, drama, and self-destruction. You're moving toward a quieter, more intentional life while they crave constant noise, parties, stimulation. You want depth, honesty, and growth, and they just want things to stay exactly the same. At some point, you realize that staying glued together means one of you has to shrink. Either you hold yourself back to keep them comfortable, or they feel threatened and resentful of the changes in you. You might notice subtle digs. You've changed. You're so serious now. You're not as fun as you used to be. Translation? I preferred you when you were less you and more convenient for me. Letting go in this case isn't about deciding who is right or wrong. It's about recognizing we are not walking the same road anymore, and forcing this friendship to stay exactly how it was will cost one of us our future. Loving someone as a friend doesn't mean choosing them over your own growth. Sign 4. You feel more at home with other people. One of the clearest signs that a best friend chapter is ending is this. You start to feel more like yourself around other people. Maybe you made new friends at work, online, in a hobby, or in a new city. You notice that with them, you laugh easier and you don't rehearse what you're about to say. You feel seen and understood in ways you haven't felt in a long time. And when you go back to meeting with your best friend, something feels off. You catch yourself dimming your opinions, laughing at things that don't really amuse you, and walking on eggshells around topics you used to share freely. You might feel guilty for this, as if enjoying other friendships more makes you disloyal or shallow. But here's the truth, new friendships don't erase what your best friend meant to you. They simply reveal something. I belong more here now than I do there. And you owe it to yourself and to them to be honest about that. This doesn't mean you have to cut them off completely. Sometimes it just means accepting that the status of best friend has quietly expired. What once was a central relationship has become a chapter you're grateful for, not a home you still live in. Today, we're exploring the subtle yet profound signs that a friendship might be nearing its end, focusing on broken trust and one-sided effort. Sign 5. Trust was broken and you can't unknow it. There are fractures a friendship can heal from, and there are fractures that permanently change the shape of it. Maybe your best friend shared something deeply personal you told them in confidence, or chose someone else's side when they knew you were being mistreated. They might have lied to you about something that cut right where you're most vulnerable, or said words in anger that you can't unhear. Yes, people make mistakes. Yes, forgiveness is possible. But forgiveness and re-entry are 2 different things. You can forgive someone in your heart, wish them well, and still recognize, I no longer feel safe with you at the same level. Trust is the foundation of any close relationship. Without it, every conversation becomes a calculation. You second-guess what they tell you. You censor your own truth around them. You might try to be mature, to let it go, to act like everything is normal. But your body remembers. Your nervous system tightens around them. You leave interactions feeling drained, suspicious, unsettled. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for both of you is to admit, we crossed a line that this friendship doesn't know how to come back from. It doesn't mean they're a monster, and it doesn't mean you're perfect. It means the container that used to hold your connection is cracked beyond repair, and you don't have to keep pouring yourself into something that can no longer hold you. This might be the hardest sign of all. You're the only one still fighting for it. You look at the friendship and realize you're the one starting all the conversations, suggesting all the plans and checking in on them. You're remembering important dates and trying to fix things when something feels off. If you stopped trying, would the friendship survive, or would it quietly disappear into silence? It's painful to admit, but sometimes you're not in a mutual friendship. you're in a one-person rescue mission. This mission is for something the other person has already emotionally left. Maybe they're not cruel. They don't say, "I don't care about you," and they might even say, "I love you, you're my best friend." But love is not just sentiment. It's effort, attention, and presence. If you feel like the load bearer of the relationship while they rest on your effort, you're not holding onto a friendship. You're holding onto a fantasy, and this is where self-respect enters. You are allowed to stop auditioning for a role you've already been silently fired from. Recognizing these signs can be painful, but it's a crucial step towards personal growth and healthier relationships. Today, we're exploring the subtle yet profound signs that a friendship might be nearing its end, focusing on broken trust and one-sided effort. Sign 5. Trust was broken and you can't unknow it. There are fractures a friendship can heal from, and there are fractures that permanently change the shape of it. Maybe your best friend shared something deeply personal you told them in confidence, or chose someone else's side when they knew you were being mistreated. They might have lied to you about something that cut right where you're most vulnerable, or said words in anger that you can't unhear. Yes, people make mistakes. Yes, forgiveness is possible. But forgiveness and re-entry are two different things. You can forgive someone in your heart, wish them well, and still recognize, "I no longer feel safe with you at the same level." Trust is the foundation of any close relationship. Without it, every conversation becomes a calculation. You second-guess what they tell you. You censor your own truth around them. You might try to be mature, to let it go, to act like everything is normal. But your body remembers. Your nervous system tightens around them. You leave interactions feeling drained, suspicious, unsettled. Sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for both of you is to admit, "We crossed a line that this friendship doesn't know how to come back from." It doesn't mean they're a monster, and it doesn't mean you're perfect. It means the container that used to hold your connection is cracked beyond repair, and you don't have to keep pouring yourself into something that can no longer hold you. This might be the hardest sign of all. You're the only one still fighting for it. You look at the friendship and realize you're the one starting all the conversations, suggesting all the plans, and checking in on them. You're remembering important dates and trying to fix things when something feels off. If you stopped trying, would the friendship survive, or would it quietly disappear into silence? It's painful to admit, but sometimes you're not in a mutual friendship. You're in a one-person rescue mission. This mission is for something the other person has already emotionally left. Maybe they're not cruel. They don't say, "I don't care about you," and they might even say, "I love you, you're my best friend." But love is not just sentiment. It's effort, attention, and presence. If you feel like the load bearer of the relationship while they rest on your effort, you're not holding onto a friendship. You're holding onto a fantasy, and this is where self-respect enters. You are allowed to stop auditioning for a role you've already been silently fired from. Recognizing these signs can be painful, but it's a crucial step towards personal growth and healthier relationships. How do you actually let go? If these signs hit a nerve, the next question is obvious. What do you do with this? Letting go of a best friend is not a one-step decision. It's a process. Here are some steps to help you move through it with dignity. First, tell yourself the full truth. Drop the excuses for a moment, like, "We're just busy," "It's just a phase," or "It will go back to the way it was." Ask yourself, if I met this person today, knowing only what I know now, would I choose them as my closest friend? Your honest answer is your compass. Next, decide the distance, not necessarily the drama. You don't always need a huge confrontation. Sometimes letting go looks like replying slower, stopping the constant chasing, being less emotionally available, or redirecting your energy toward people who show up. Other times, you might feel it's right to have a gentle, honest conversation. "I love what we were to each other, but I feel we've changed. I don't want to pretend we're still the same when we're clearly not." You're not obligated to burn bridges. Sometimes you just stop rebuilding one that's already fallen. Third, allow yourself to grieve. You're not just losing a person, you're losing a version of yourself you were with them. You're also losing shared rituals, routines, traditions, and the imagined future you thought you'd have together. So yes, you might cycle through denial, anger, sadness, guilt, and finally, acceptance. We were right for each other until we weren't. This isn't weakness. It's what love looks like when it has to change shape. Fourth, don't chase closure where there is none. Of course, you want answers. Why didn't you fight for us? What did I do wrong? Do I mean anything to you at all? Asking a few honest questions to understand what happened can be helpful, but begging someone to validate your worth almost never is. If they've already checked out, trying to drag a confession of love or a regret out of them will only tear you open more. Real closure often comes from within. We shared something real. It changed me. And now it's over. I honor what we had, and I release what we can't be anymore. Finally, turn toward what's trying to grow in you. Every ending creates a space. Use that space to reconnect with parts of yourself you silenced to keep the friendship alive. Spend time with people who make you feel relaxed, accepted, and seen. Build a life that doesn't depend on one person never changing. It's okay to miss them and still know you made the right decision. It's okay to remember them fondly without wanting them back in the same place. Some people are meant to be chapters, not entire books. The bravery of letting go of a best friend is one of the most courageous decisions you will ever make. Because it means this: you choose truth over fantasy, self-respect over comfort, and growth over repetition. You're not saying, "You never mattered." You're saying, "You mattered so much that I refused to reduce what we had to something strained and resentful." You're allowed to outgrow people. They're allowed to outgrow you. What matters is that you don't outgrow yourself trying to hold on to someone who no longer meets you where you are. If this resonated with you, I want you to ask yourself one question. If I stopped pretending everything was fine, what would I finally be free to admit about this friendship? Whatever your honest answer is, start there.